Hello again, YouTube. As promised, I told you I was going to do a little mini documentary, if you will, on our state as black people, man. Like, it's late at night, so I'm going to try not to raise my voice, but I'm going to go to a lot of clips, and I'm just going to prove my point that a lot of us, we have poor judgment. Case in point, Tia Mowry. Can't even think of a reason why she divorced her husband, but yet she divorced her husband. And meanwhile, her twin sister is remaining faithfully married to a white man. We finna break this thing down with a lot of clips. Here we go. Not gonna play all of them, but and some of them I'm just gonna play a little bit.
Hydroxycut makes your best even better. When you
And it's gonna be a lot of commercials.
Refuse to give in and never give up.
So there's a woman on TikTok that says that men in jail.
Right, let's go. Shout out to, what's his name? I don't want to use this footage. Cap Step. Here we go. For providing this footage.
That's on the streets. Y'all gotta step y'all game up. Y'all are losing to these dudes that's in the prison system, okay? I was on TikTok last night and I ran across a line. It was like 4 dudes that was in the feds. So I just tapped in to be nosy to see what they were talking about. Y'all know it's like it was thousands of girls on there, like being so thirsty, asking these locked up dudes, "Oh, what's your JPay? I want to see you some money. I want to come see you. I want to be your pen pal." Like,
Okay, so like I said, if you go to my videos, I already made the point that a lot of like relationships are for bad guys. Like women like bad guys. They say they ain't my type. Yes, they are. Because some of the ones that say that they're not their type, if you could go back in their history, they treated criminals better than good guys. And in some cases, they treated their man better when he was a criminal than when he was a good guy coming home every night, providing, trying to do what's right in life. Because that's, listen, man, listen. We all messed up. We all messed up. Now, we talking in particular about black people, but some of this stuff is across the board. The average marriage only lasts 8 years, so why would people do it?
the dating pool becomes that we gotta reach out to that's locked up for love. And he's just winning. Like, they taking all the bad ones too.
These coquettes are always talking about love, but never doing it. Again, go to my video on coquettes. They basically flirt with guys to get something that they want. Some of them, it might be sex. Some of them might be attention. Some of them might be material. Whatever the case may be, they flirt with guys. They give guys attention, so on and so forth. But they really have no genuine interest in them. They're just bored. And I mean, and this woman is not a bad looking woman talking about, you know how people try to relay a message that's really what they think. That's what she doing. She like them jailbirds. Look at her. Jailbirds are up one. Yeah, you can't tell me I deal with them. A lot of them is crybabies. They crash out. They poor decision makers. They don't do nothing but lie. Come on now.
Like, y'all dudes on the streets gotta step y'all game up. Y'all are losing terribly. Just the penitentiary. What? Don't be mad.
No, they not losing terribly because they don't want you. They losing. See, these guys in jail, I watch them all day. Flirt. They want everything. They want everybody. I watch them every day, and I just sit there trying not to laugh because some of it's hilarious, but let's just keep going.
I'm just saying. I guess they love the jail talk right now. I don't know. It's working. Whatever they're saying or whatever they're doing, it's working.
Ain't this the same one? Tell me in the comments, but ain't this the same one that said she was married and her husband was coming at her too much for sex? Like, I don't get it. You talking about jailbirds. If y'all know this her, tell me in the comments. Remember the girl that said all her husband wanted to do is have sex, he wearing her out? Is this her? Because she didn't want to continue in her sexual relation with her husband. Maybe it's because she liked jailbirds. I believe this is her. I really do. But see, this, if it is her, this is what I'm talking about. We got to be the focal point of all our dealings with these women. We got to be assertive. Sometimes we got to be aggressive. And when I say aggressive, I'm not talking about bullying them or manipulating them or any of that. I'm saying like we dictate to them or we dump them. That's how it is. And they can say what they want about us. This is the way it's got to be. Because what they'll do is they'll try to talk about you to kind of bring you down off the horse. Instead of getting on the back of the horse, they want to bring you off of the horse so they can ride it by themselves.
Every other female I know is dealing with some dude in prison.
And this is another reason not, see, they using you for money, man, most of them. Again, to quote Coach Greg, men are in love, women are in business, but men need to get out of love and treat it like a business. You got to match their energy because they'll have 2 or 3 kids by these dudes in jail. All they do all day, man, I got to talk to my kids, man. Just let me tell my kids good night. Blah, 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 blah. All these kids. And I even heard one guy say, man, he's just keeping it warm for me. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
No. But it's speaking volumes about y'all dudes on the streets.
Quick question. How are you winning with the ladies when you got to wait 5 to 10 more years before you can get out and get to them?
They ain't camp stamp.
I mean, they might feel like they win it, but I personally wouldn't call it a win to have to fight
It's
for
not.
my booty hole for 5 to 10 years just to bump into a pretty woman that make bad decisions. I'm just saying, that's just me. And then she had a nerve to say,
Wait a minute. I got to hear that again, man. I'm telling you, man, there's some talent on YouTube, man. And look, the nerve of them to shadow ban this man.
for the win, to have to fight for my booty hole for 5 to 10
Wait, hold on.
years before you can get out and get to them. I mean, they might feel like they win it, but I personally wouldn't call it a win to have to fight for my booty hole for 5 to 10 years just to bump into a pretty woman that make bad decisions. I'm not just saying, that's just me. And then she had the nerve to say that it speaks volumes about the men that are not in jail. Shouldn't it speak
She's trying to
volumes
fire
about
shots.
the women that are going to look to jail
Yes,
to search for a man?
right.
Why does it speak volumes about the dudes that are out here? Like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And if you don't understand that, let me direct you to Judge Joe Brown and some statistics that he got.
1990, 1 and 2, CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, sent a special hit team to Memphis because of the extremely high incidence of HIV that had developed
This who they like.
in the penal system in Memphis. Memphis has, or Shelby County, where Memphis is located, has the dubious distinction of having more inmates than any other county in the entirety of the United States. It's got a federal maximum security facility, a state medium, and a minor.
So what he's basically saying, and I'm gonna let him say it, but what he's saying, I had to pause anyway, is these women like fruity duty guys and girls. And why? The central theme of this message. We as a people are in last place, in particular because we exalt the wrong things and we have poor judgment. And I'm going to go to many different clips to prove my point.
Facility in county facilities and juvenile facilities. Well, I wound up being the administrative judge for the criminal court, so I was in charge of what was going on. And what came
He's basically breaking it down, but I'm going to let him say it.
out, thanks to a sister who went astray, Catherine Bowers, now deceased, she got a legislative act passed that required that somebody 18 to 25 who was locked up, sentenced, would have to be tested for STDs upon registration in the institution and upon release. So what CDC found out was that you were having 4 to 6% going in HIV positive. And
What's that say, y'all? What's that say?
after 3 months, 90 days, you were getting somewhere around 64, 66% HIV positive.
Hold on, Fire. You said it went from 4% to 60-something percent?
Yeah, because what was going on is if somebody had been incarcerated for 9 months, there was a 92% probability that they had engaged in either voluntary or involuntary homosexual contact.
Uh-oh, so much for her jailbirds winning. Check this out, y'all. Shout out to THPP Network.
A post where Sexy Red was mad because she couldn't go and perform or speak at a school.
Now, you know, if I'm not mistaken, that was a middle school, y'all. That was a middle school, but I'm going to let it play a little more. And do not come on here telling me to let the whole video play. I'm showing you the titles. Write them down. If you don't want to hear the commentary, you shouldn't be here anyway. Bye.
Nobody called.
So this school put me, I came up here, got you, tried to talk to the kids, give me word of the day, they don't put me off. Cause that's my week, watch this.
My point is proving, seeing that she's mad she can't go into school. I've been telling y'all her.
This girl's name is the real baddie, and one of the reasons why I really could have only played this video. I want y'all to hear her commentary on this. And I want you to hear THPP's commentary afterwards. Like I say, it's some stuff that you can watch on YouTube. So her video was called Sexy Red and the Adultification of Black Children. Again, this video that I'm making is, I'm talking about the reason why we're in last place as a people. One of them is the exaltation of things and people that we should reject. Now, none of us are perfect. But come on now. These people are hired help by the powers that be that don't like us. Going back to even the Garden of Eden.
Her target audience is kids. Because it is.
What's your
That's the title of the video. Watch this. It's supposed to be teaching the kids. They teaching them sexy red.
I need a new baby.
Trying to see what's up. Wanna be on my
If you can hear my voice.
Now, when I first heard that little ski, I thought, because that's like a gang chant. If you do it wrong, it's like a person that knows that chant and be like, wait a minute, that's a gang chant. And we ain't going to get all off into that. But when they told me why she was doing that, and I'm thinking, like, all these young girls and all these kids look up to her. And that ski is her basically squirting. You know, if you don't know what squirting is, the flying out of sexual fluids during intercourse.
Twice, clap twice. If you see me and you trying to see what's up. What? Okay, I see y'all.
A lot of these new
She cheering them on. Listen to her.
Very hypersexual and explicit content. Because why, as an adult entertainer whose music is on the verge of erotica, would you even think it's appropriate for you to show up at a school and then show up like that?
Somebody put her up to that, I believe, because they after the kids, man. Remember, like even going back to the Bible, remember Moloch and Shayun, how they was like he was mad at them. The Most High was mad at them because they was causing the kids to pass through the fire. Well, they using people like Sexy Red, giving her all, she got all this money, but just stacks and stacks of money. And it ain't prop money, I guarantee you. Just to exploit and to mislead these kids. And one of the reasons why the devil do that, because if you remember the scripture, remember they asked him who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, and he grabbed a kid. That's why the devil does that, because the devil wants to take away even the greatest out of the kingdom of heaven.
Smelling like marijuana with your cleavage hanging out.
This is where you realize where rap is at. The most intriguing, the most viral thing in the hip-hop culture is actually Sexy Red. But Drake aligns himself with specific things that are happening in culture. This Sexy Red feature is already naturally bringing in attention.
Such role models, huh? Such role models. See, our ancestors were passing through the Red Sea. So, of course, how fitting that their ancestors, the people that put people like Sexy Red and others up to this, are known as the synagogue of Satan. And our ancestors were called the apple of his eye. Do your research. Do your research. But not no more. And the reason why we as a people some of us are still the apple of his eye, but a lot of us are not, because we have bought into the lifestyle and the system of the enemies of the Most High God. Money first, attention, fame first. Don't have no spiritual backbone, don't have no beliefs, don't have no morals. Just make a name for yourself.
Red, which is the ghetto ratchet, hood rat, female music like him. Streamers like him.
What you doing, bro? Okay.
It's Sexy Red, bro.
He's another one. This dude,
This is not Sexy Red.
he gets paid very well to make you dumb.
That could rap at that level that gets paid off of everybody's deal trying to rap.
Is this confirmed?
Or you think he just likes being around Sexy Red that much? Name some more. I can name some.
No.
Is he being paid? No, he's...
People talk about Joe Budden, but Joe Budden, a lot of time he makes good points about the music. And I am going to go to, in a minute, I'm going to go to Corey Holcomb's take on it.
smart. He knows how to work the media in trying to show
I think it's on this
audience
video,
that
too.
Drake with girls like that. Drake is going to play this up. Drake is...
So basically, they using these female rappers and people like Drake. They like, oh, Drake like them, so they good enough for Drake, they good enough for me. To basically make relationships in general even more toxic than they already are. And it's these type, the Drakes, the Sexy Reds, that lead us. It's almost like this. It's almost like we're in a race. Like all the races are in the race, right? But instead of us passing the baton, we sticking our foot out, tripping each other, while everybody else is sprinting to the finish line. We are keeping each other from getting to the finish line. All this, like for instance, and then I made a video how some of the music is actually catchy. So that's what makes it appealing to the masses. Like everybody was talking about Kendrick Lamar's diss of J. Cole and Drake. When it was just laced with violence, like talking about don't pull a coffin out your mouth. I mean, he put his words together, don't get me wrong, to one of the greatest beats of all time. But still, the message is flawed, and the message is a message that they want us and Latinos to continue to hear. So won't no more Seminoles be created.
Just realize that music is overran by a bunch of ratchets with Gorilla Glue pinning down some hair hat on the top of their head.
Look at his hands.
There's a headline of Drake just bought Sexy Red a new Cartier watch. Just bought her a new bag. He just bought her this.
I'm glad I got rich friends that can turn me up and think about me. Take the Drake, I appreciate you. Four Chanel's. What the North Side? Four new Chanel's. Like, what?
See what I'm talking about?
Hey, turn me up there.
Let's skip a little bit.
Hey, what's up, Antetokounmpos?
Welcome to Greek Tea, where we put the Greek in your tea.
Is this all teak?
Between you and me.
Tell her that's my weed. Watch this. I'm gonna try to get married. Sure, nobody.
I feel like I'm finna sit with your.
They ain't coming to see you, Otis. You heard they screaming for?
Baby, you wouldn't be able to go visit your baby daddy in prison looking like that. But
that's true. Like when they come in to visit, they gotta be dressed modestly, and they gotta have an ID, and they'll get turned away sometimes if they come in there smelling like weed.
how you show up for the kids. Okay.
Hold on a second. You mean to tell me that Sexy Red has actually got invited
Watch
to a
this.
high school?
Look at her throwing
How
up.
about this? She's been invited to schools before. Now, let's just address this really quickly. Who on God's green earth is inviting this woman to speak inspirationally to high school students? Like, what does she have to offer?
The school tried to deny that they invited her to speak, but I don't know. I mean, I encourage people to homeschool their kids or send your kids to like a private school or something. You know, but this is what normally happens at public schools, y'all.
Educational.
Sexy Red at that high school instead of a motivational speaker corrupting our youth.
Is she gonna sit there and tell her to get your education? What college did Sexy Red graduate from? Maybe I'm misinformed. Let me know in the comments. What high school did she go to? That was she valedictorian of her high school? Let me know in the comments. Is she an academic achiever? What is she doing at the high?
We're Sexy Red. This is how I know y'all brainwashed. It's in the food, it's in the music, it's in everything. Because look at this shit y'all choose to fight for.
Now, when I was in high school, we had a lot of people come and speak at our high schools. I know this was a long time ago, maybe in the dark ages. Want to give a shout out to South City and El Camino High School, went to both of them. We had community activists come through. We had the...
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Shout out to him.
But this is the buffoonery that we
Look
have
at this.
here. What did she do? She turned up outside with the kids. Oh yeah, it's for the kids anyway. It's not for the kids, ma'am. It's for your ego. It's for your ego.
It
How dare
is.
this person? They didn't come there to see you. They came here to see me.
And y'all notice it's always the black women shaking their butt, thumbs up the butt. Like, it's rare for you to see other races doing this. And then they wonder why out of all, and as much as I think Anton Daniels is a sellout, Anton Daniels made a good point that I was watching earlier. He was talking about they in last place. They shouldn't be having all those demands in terms of us. Because let's be honest, the only people that you see strongly, I'm talking about, you had isolated cases across the board, but strongly trying to have relationships and wife black women are black men. White guys fetishize them every now and then, but we see how white guys do them. How y'all been watching the news? Have y'all heard about how the dude, and they think he has more victims. They believing that the man has 4 victims and 3 of them are black. So divesting, when you choose your mate, you just got to choose wise. And women need to get back to being submissive and being helpful in a relationship. All that arguing, see, some of our melanated women think that because we're melanated and they're melanated, that somehow we just have to just put up with this garbage. You think I'm gonna marry somebody to do this? Do you think, now I could see if she did it in the bedroom, I came out the bathroom and she was clapping it up. But you think I'm gonna get with or stay with somebody who does this in public or does this at all for other men? Now think how many other guys think like me.
Everything's about me. Now let's really break this down.
Hold on, let's move. I want to get to Corey Holcomb. But first, let's go back to someone.
The truth, because again, the truth is the truth, regardless of how these idiots feel about it. You would never hear me blast.
Exactly. See, people nowadays, in particular, a lot of us, think that we can somehow change the truth because we don't like it or because we don't want it. Let's go back. Let her say it again.
Start speaking up on these things and telling the truth, because again, the truth is the truth, regardless of how these idiots feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
You would never hear me blasting that.
That's her channel.
I barely listen to it around my 18-year-old sister. She don't even listen to Sexy Red.
And everything comes down to role models for individuals, and in this case,
let's see what Corey Holcomb. I think he was on this one. Wait, he wasn't on this one? I thought he was. Wait, hold on.
young girls compare themselves to people who they want to be and idolize, imitating professional athletes, influencers, entertainment artists, and others.
Living with opioid addiction can be a struggle, trapped in a cycle of opioid use, withdrawal, and cravings. For adults with moderate to severe opioid addiction, whose withdrawal symptoms are controlled by oral buprenorphine for at least 7 days, Sublocade may help them keep moving towards recovery.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and pay that, man. Look at that. They trying to make y'all hear this whole thing.
Versus placebo. Sublocade
Trying to sell their medication.
Buprenorphine all month with no real daily ups and downs. Buprenorphine is known to reduce.
You need to wash your booty. I'm selling coach. I'm selling coach.
See what I'm talking about, y'all? Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
Come dig on my oil. Give me women like
and break the cross. The swine is not just hogs, it's the appetite in the people for filth and indecency. The other hat was for the Messiah, because the Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims are together at the end of the present world.
What did the Bible say about being too nice?
Mark 1:29 says, when we are too nice and passively accommodate others, we can very well miss what God has for us. Stop being too nice. Nice isn't of the fruits of the...
Let's let him say it again.
The Mahdi of the Muslims are together at the end of the present world.
That's what I teach.
Mark 1:29.
That's why, like, when I teach, I don't teach me versus this religion, that religion. I teach the truth, and I align with others who believe the truth, know the truth, whether their interpretation is slightly different. When it's all said and done, like Farrakhan said, it's going to be people from all different religions that were judged according to their works, and their works were good enough, or their hearts were humble enough for them all to stand before the Most High with palm branches. But let him, I think his name is Red, on the Corey Holcomb show. Let him tell you like that.
Says, when we are too nice and passively accommodate others, we can very well miss what God has for us. Stop being too nice. Nice isn't of the fruits of the Spirit.
It's godly. That's what that means. If you ain't that dog, you are destroying that. That's what I be telling these girls when I be on top of their head like that. I be like, what if I let you think for yourself?
If they don't know, baby, they don't know the culture. They do not know this generation. I'm one of the leaders, even though I'm ghetto, but I'm one of the leaders of this generation. Definitely Sukiana. You know who's always trending?
And that's what's wrong.
Me.
Suki, it's always trending. Yeah. That's because you are actually able to be yourself in front of the world.
Yep, them. They was mad when I went to London.
I'm trying to get my teeth stretched. I'm trying to get my teeth stretched. And he be eating.
Yep, she trying to get it stretched, and then the good guy gonna come. The good guy gonna come along, and it's gonna be too stretched. It's gonna be too stretched. She gonna lay there, you almost done? When if she would have did it the Most High's way, she would have stretched to what he had.
In London, period. I'm trying to get them stretched.
The people that were out front were looking at me like I was crazy. Mind you, I was fully dressed. I had a dress from head to toe with nothing showing. So I felt a little bit uncomfortable. So that's why I say I'm gonna get my coochie scratched. And that's what I did in front of everybody.
One thing I cannot stand is when people try to justify unrighteous behavior. I mean, it's one thing for you to choose it. It's another thing for you to justify it. Because when you justify it, you preaching for Satan. Anytime you justify unrighteous behavior in public, you're the devil's representative.
You think for yourself, you'll destroy our family. Your job is to lay on your back and wash the dishes and wipe off the clock on the stove. Anything else, they're going to run into a brick wall at 100 miles per hour.
And it keeps happening.
Savages, and welcome to another Tip Talk. The ignorance that we are doing to it right.
Look what they teaching the kids.
Goes.
He's at the 10, the 5.
Back to what we deem acceptable. You know, the problem with Sexy Red, the problem with these 304 rappers, Nicki Minaj, Meg Thee Stallions of the world,
The problem with these ladies isn't that they're perpetuating a thought behavior to make money. The problem
This is his channel, y'all.
Thought behavior is perpetuated to the children.
Right. And they think this is funny.
I mean, I want you guys to think.
This why I don't deal with too many people no more, y'all. This is why. And it seemed like in this generation, every time I start trying to deal with a bunch of people, you get into it. Or what they'll do is people go by vibes, right? So an unrighteous person is going to view their vibe with a righteous person as negative. And what do people normally do? If you're in a work setting, they're going to over-critique you. They're going to bypass and be passive with those who have a common vibe with them. And they're going to be more nitpicky with those that are different from them. See, you ain't got to say nothing. People be like, just go to work and go home. No, because if you got the Spirit of God on you and you the only person, or it's not that many of y'all, you gon' listen. Even if you try to get along, you ain't gonna get along. People gonna be like, it's just something about him that I don't like. That's just the way it is. But you got to choose your side, because the Bible say the devil makes war with the saints. Now remember, and I've heard other people say this, even though we like the lowest percentage of the population, we the most influential on fashion, so on and so forth, right? So it's how fitting is it for the devil to come after us for that reason? That's why the devil comes after us, because all these other races gonna follow us with the dance, with this, with that.
There's actually women walking around. There's actually young ladies walking around, 15, 16-year-old, who think an OF bottle is what they want to be, what they aspire to be when they grow up. And then there's other women, grown women, knowing it's the wrong path, knowing it's not the...
And then they be on YouTube getting mad at us in the manosphere for telling dudes recreational use only. Because look, I'm going to tell you. Let's go back. I'm finna keep it real. Wait, hold on. I'm finna keep it real with y'all. Watch this.
Better path out there, and this is this path up.
Where's she at? Where's that girl that they just showed?
You know, the problem with Sexy Red, the problem...
Anyway.
I mean, I want you guys to think of this.
Right here it is.
There's actually women walking around. There's actually young ladies walking around, 15, 16-year-old, who think an OF bottle is what they want to be, what they aspire to be when they grow up. And then there's other...
Now that is not the worst looking woman. This woman right here. Not a bad shape, but this is what they do, y'all. And they won't admit it. Like, this is how they behave when they start drinking. Like, if you listen closely, and we're going to have a part two, so stay tuned. I'll be back. I'm going to talk about it in a second. We ain't done.